The Awakening here, and today we're going to ask the age-old question, is God real? How can I know for sure that God is real? So, this is where people have to start thinking. So listen closely. This episode may be important. It may help you reach out to your others, people who don't believe. So, we know that God is real because He has revealed Himself to us in three ways. In creation, in His Word, in His Son, Jesus Christ. The most basic proof of God's existence is simply what He has made. For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, His eternal power, and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that men are without excuse. Romans 1:20. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the skies proclaim the work of His hands. Psalm 19:1. I don't have a picture of a phone, but if I found a wristwatch in the middle of a field, I would not assume that it just appeared out of nowhere, or that it has always existed. Based on the watch's design, I would assume it has a designer. But there is a far greater design and precision in the world around us. Our measurement of time is not based on wristwatches, but on God's handiwork. If I found an encoded message, I would seek out a cytotypographer to help break the code. My assumption would be that there is an intelligent sender of the message, someone who created the code. How complex is the DNA code that we carry in every cell of our bodies? Does not the complexity and purpose of our DNA argue for an intelligent writer of the code? Not only has God made us interested in finely tuned physical world, He has also instilled a sense of eternity in the heart of every person. Mankind has an initiate perception that there is more to life than meets the eye, that there is an existence higher than his earthly routine. Our sense of eternity manifests itself in at least two ways: lawmaking and worship. Every civilization throughout history has valued certain moral laws, which are surprisingly similar from culture to culture. For example, the ideal of love is universally esteemed, while the act of lying is universally condemned. This common morality, this global understanding of right and wrong, points to a supreme moral being who gave us such scruples. In the same way, people all over the world, regardless of culture, have always cultivated a system of worship. The object of worship may vary, but the sense of a high power is undeniable, part of being human. Our propensity to worship according with the fact that God created us in His own image. Genesis 1:27 talks about that. God has always revealed Himself to us through His Word, the Bible. Throughout the Scripture, the existence of God is treated as self-evident fact. When Benjamin Franklin wrote his autobiography, he did not waste his time trying to prove his own existence. Likewise, God did not spend much time proving His existence in His book. The life-changing nature of the Bible is integrity, and the miracles which accompanied its writing should be enough to warrant a closer look. The third way in which God revealed Himself is through His Son, Jesus Christ. Now let me read you Scripture. John 14:6. Jesus said unto him, I am the way, the truth, the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. In the beginning was the Word was God, and the Word was God. The Word became flesh and made His dwelling among us. We have seen His glory, the glory of the one and only, who came from the Father, full of grace and truth. John 1:14. In Jesus' amazing life, He kept the entire Old Testament law perfectly and fulfilled the prophecies concerning the Messiah. He performed countless acts of compassion and public miracles to authenticate His message and bear witness to His deity. The 3 days after His crucifixion, He rose from the dead, a fact affirmed by hundreds of eyewitnesses. 1 Corinthians 15:6. The historical record abounds with proof of who Jesus is. As the Apostle Paul said, this thing was not done in a corner. Let me read you the full thing. For the king knoweth of those things for whom also I speak freely. For I am persuaded that none of these things are hidden from him. For this thing was not done in a corner. Acts 26:26. We realize there will always be skeptics who have their own ideas concerning God, and will read the evidence accordingly, and there will be some whom no amount of proof will convince. The fool had said in his heart, there is no God. Psalm 14:1. It all comes down to faith, though. And without faith, it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to Him must believe that He exists, and that He rewards those who earnestly seek Him. Hebrews 11:6. I hope this video blessed you. Remember, there's only one way, and that one way is Jesus Christ. And if you like this video, hit that like and subscribe. And as always, shalom. Have a great rest of your day.